So Overwatch's brand new tank, Sigma, has just released a few hours ago, and he is an amazing hero. Now, I don't cover much tanks or play really any tanks in Overwatch, but this tank is my personal favorite already so far, and I've been doing fantastic with him, as you guys saw in the gameplay of my first ever time really playing with him. Sigma is utterly amazing so far, and I really do enjoy him. Now, this is the basic guide, so I'll be getting into decent both of his moves and how he's effective in your role for playing Sigma. So without further ado, let's get into this. So his basic R2 attack throws 2 orbs that explode on impact, doing a ton of damage as it is. And even more when it comes to headshots. So yeah, Sigma's pretty cool. His L2 casts out a shield, and you can even hit L2 again and break the shield, and then deploy another one. You can keep doing that as much as you want, and it'll be extremely effective. His L1 absorbs all projectiles, bullets, and etc., and converts them into shields that can heal him. Now this being very useful for Sigma as well. His R1 launches a big rock that can stun the enemies for roughly a few seconds. Now you can see I'm taking damage right now, right? And this is what his L1 will do once it recharges. I'll show you. As you see, it heals me. So it's pretty cool. Sigma is an amazing tank character. His ultimate is pretty sweet as well. So let me show you his ultimate. What it basically does is it reverses gravity, picks everyone up in the circle, and slams them down, doing a pretty decent amount of damage, but may not be enough to kill another Sigma. Now Sigma's basic attack can damage himself, so be wary of that when you play him. Other than that, Sigma is just altogether an amazing hero. Now, his place I'd recommend being behind, other people on your team, because he's not the best when it comes to these situations of surviving solo. You guys have seen my gameplay that I have recorded, and it's pretty good. Showing you guys that Sigma is a pretty good hero. Now I am a pretty big fan of Sigma as it is, and he's going to be one of my new mains, I'm thinking, and the only tank I'll really play. Because I do not play many tanks, we all know that. If you guys see my guides, I've only done one guide for a tank, and that was Roadhog. And it was just a basic guide because I'm not actually good with tanks. I'm not that kind of player. But Sigma, on the other hand, will make me convert to play tanks even more. As you can see in the gameplay how powerful Sigma actually is against these training bots, and these training bots do have, I think, 250 health. So Sigma is basically doing this to a Reaper and a May. So that's what he is basically doing damage with. He is very amazing. He's a great hero. His shield is pretty sweet. I like how you can cast it in midair too. Like I'll cast it right out over the edge here. It can get it to stick right there. So if you had an Ashe up on this balcony sniping, it could really do some good damage to her. The range test isn't that great, as you guys can see. They blow up after a certain amount of range. So the range test will start here. Checks off, we'll back up. Checks off, we'll back up. Wait for the bot to respawn. Checks off, we'll back up. Right there, I don't hit him. Right there, I don't hit him. Here, I don't hit him. There, I hit him. So right about here is the maximum range that you can actually do damage with Sigma. But I would 100% recommend that you guys play Sigma. Sigma's awesome. And you guys see all the gameplay recordings I did with him during the what's it called? No Limits. The No Limits playing Sigma. I've had teams of all Sigma against teams of all Sigma, and I've still gotten some gold medals up for voting each time. I haven't got to play the game yet. Once I do get to play the game, I will indeed upload it to the channel so you guys can see it, because you guys know that I do that a lot. I love to play the games that I get with playing heroes. Now, Sigma's rock throwing that you just saw right there, the R1, it doesn't have fantastic range, so if you want to hit somebody from a decent distance, as I'll show you here, you're going to want to aim a little bit high over their head so that your rock can actually do damage to them. That's the most successful way of doing it anyway. And Sigma does some pretty good damage when it comes to hitting in the head. He reminds me most of Zenyatta, because he does float when he moves, as you guys will see in the gameplay if you watched my Sigma new hero video. Then you'll see how he actually just floats. And I purchased some cool stuff for him. I purchased this voice line, and I purchased the armor that I'm wearing. I purchased the emote that I have, which I will show you in a bit. But altogether, Sigma, fantastic hero. Really enjoy playing with him. He does tons of damage, and I would just 100% recommend him to any player, any type of player out there. Even if you guys are not big on tanks, still play Sigma. Sigma's just that good. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoy it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Overwatch guide.